going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries, we'll make our own way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd, just you and me together.
Marvelous Monday, viewers and friends. It is another one here, and we trust that you had a great weekend. We're all here having breakfast with you. And Lady Elise, how has the morning been so far?
It has been wonderful, fabulous. You know why? CoraleeKaren, tell me why.
If I were to offer a guess, we're alive and well. We're here in this space. We have viewers, we have friends who are waiting on us to serve them.
Just being alive is a blessing, CoraleeKaren.
Am I correct?
Yes, you are correct. You are correct. Being alive is certainly a blessing this morning. I want to say good morning to Mikey G as well.
Well, of course, I'm just listening to the excitement that's going on, and I'm feeling the coming across my side, on the other side. I say good morning to everyone. Good morning, listeners, viewers, those who are listening on Facebook, watching on Facebook, or watching on YouTube, and of course, our listeners who are on radio, www.flashpointmedia.ky.
Absolutely. I will certainly endorse Lady Elise. Despite what's going on, despite there's so many things that if you were to take stock, that's going wrong. But I believe that if we spend our time focusing on what's not going so well, that we lose focus on what is going well. So we ought to celebrate and still be mindful, because in that space, it allows us to see that all is not lost.
Wow. It's a true saying, like I said earlier, I was talking to my friend, and I was talking on the radio. I was saying it earlier, We're having a conversation about achievements, and how one views you as achieving versus someone else's achievement. And we tend to look at others' achievement and say that we are unsuccessful because we did not make that mark. Look at how successful they are. Look at how much things they have gotten. Look how many things that they have been doing. Look at what they have achieved over this period of time. And I have been lagging behind. And many persons find themselves in this mindset of feeling, I think there's a concept that is called self-actualization, And I was learning that a long time ago, what it means. And we spend so much time talking about what is actually self-actualization, what it means to be self-actualized. And many persons today, even after through their success, their careers and stuff, still at the end of it or even close to the end, do not feel self-actualized because they didn't think that they have done enough or achieved enough or actually made the mark that they were hoping to make. And find yourself in a dismal place, a little disappointed with yourself, and somewhat look down on yourself while elevating others. And this morning, it is something that we might want to take a little bit, let's take a peek through the window on that and think about what it actually means to be successful, or even the concept of self-actualizing or self-actualization. If it actually is taking place, or has it?
Well, Mikey G, it's difficult not to compare yourself with others. You would say, okay, we went to school together, and this person would have achieved this. If we measure what we should have achieved based on what another person's achievement is. It's difficult not to find yourself doing that.
Well, it then becomes the question then becomes what is success? And if so there are two things that I'm getting from the conversation: self-actualization and the meaning of success. So the meaning of success would certainly tend to have us comparing ourselves with others, and maybe because it is dependent on acquisition, how big your house is, how many houses you have, how many cars, and it's the material acquisition that maybe drive that conversation. For me, self-actualization almost seems to be a different train of thought, because it's about what is it that you set out to do? Have you achieved it? So in one breath, it almost brings us back to what was important to you, and have you acquired, have you pursued your desired effect. So you're right, Lady Elise. Sometimes when we look at acquisitions, then we may tend to think that somebody has it more than the other. I will share with you that from a personal standpoint, you may have persons, you will tend to look at another person and you're saying, well, they don't. What grounds me is how my resources are spent. And when I look at my two beautiful children and I'm like, well, guess what? If I didn't have them, then maybe the finances would be directed somewhere else. But in the fact that I have them, it's so much more than the alternative, because I'm pouring into them. I'm making sure that they are not actualized, because that's personal, but as a parent, that I'm providing for them, that I'm living up to my responsibility of making sure that I am doing whatever I can to make sure that they are pursuing their dreams, they're pursuing their goals. And so for somebody who doesn't have children and may have the ability to put their resources elsewhere, then I can't really compare. But it is something that has crossed my mind as well.
Beautiful. When you think about it, I don't know if we could put it any better than that, Lady CoraleeKaren, because the measure of the man is what he is worth. And there's a saying that is, you are more problem than what you're worth. It's like you cost more than what you're actually worth. And so it begs the question: how do Christians then, in the realm of all of it, because we can't have this conversation from a world perspective and the world view. We have to look at the conversation as it is biblically sound, and how you would value self-actualization or achievements biblically, and looking through the spiritual eyes or the critical eyes of the scriptures as how it would resonate, right? And lots of persons tend to want to preach this gospel that says that all Christians are supposed to be poor, pauperized, and don't have any money, and don't have any wealth, which there's no place where it is expounded that you should not have any money, but there's times when you give it up for what you are going to do. So it's a choice that you'd make to whether be pursuing your career to earn lots and lots and lots of money, and to be what you'd say in this sense acquiring goods or materialistically sound, while you would say, I am going to be pursuing like a Paul story, where Paul would basically be going from place to place, creating churches, building, talking to people, and would have left the big position of being a Sanhedrin leader, would have been a military man for the army of Israel, the Jewish nation at the time. He was responsible for all those soldiers, which means he was paid well and had a great career. And to walk with dusty slippers or sandals, as it were, all over the place to talk to people, And so we want to measure what it is that we do, how we view this success, And do we measure it the same way with somebody who is not knowing Christ? Or if we are mixing it up as Christian as well? This is something that I would like to look at, for a brief moment.
What came to my mind is the fact that wealth is not so much the problem, is how we use it. When you think of the Jewish nation, they were blessed financially, they were, and they still are, one who a nation that we look upon or look to when it comes to financial resources. The question then becomes, how do you use it? Are you using it selflessly or selfishly? And that would be the distinction in my mind. I was listening to a song the other day, which for me it was the first time, and the measure of success, according to the song, oftentimes we look at what the world define it as.
Mm-hmm.
And this thing, I unfortunately I didn't get the name of the group, but what the song spoke to is, for him, he realized that it is when his son came home and decided to have a playtime with him, have him on the playing catch with him, or when his daughter decided that she wanted to spend time with him. For him, he redirected success as to how he relates to his children, the time he spent, quality time with those who God would have entrusted him with. And also, sometimes when you talk about our children, and this is something that I have recently become aware of, we tend to look at their success depending on the grades at school, how they achieve academically. And I remember recently hearing a sermon about how are we investing in our children. We tend to look to all the preparing them for the world, the working world, but are we really preparing them for heaven? Is that a part of our quest or desire for our children? Yes, we want them to have the best education. We want them to have what possibly we didn't. But where does eternity fall into all of that? Are we investing their lives for eternity? And it caused me to pause.
Yes.
Because a lot of times we remove that from the conversation. It's not even there.
Yeah. You just make it clear that we can be so financially wealthy while spiritually poor and pauperized, impoverished, as it were. That's the word I want to use. Impoverished, spiritually impoverished, and this is not something that is uncommon. We find so many people who are even spiritually inclined, who are preachers of the gospel, people who are claiming the Christian walk and this faith of Jesus Christ, and they are the poorest of us all. And you wonder how, you start to wonder, how is that even possible? Because they know more about the Bible, they know more about everything, and then yet still they are poorer than everybody else.
But then again, if you define it, the widow's mite, when Jesus asked his disciples to take note of her, there were persons who were giving out of their abundance, but she was giving out of love. The rich young ruler, again, was he? Well, I think the answer would be obvious. He was financially wealthy, but spiritually poor. And in his mind, he believed that having executed the letter of the law was sufficient for him. But when it came down to a decision of the heart, he realized, or we would have realized, that it didn't penetrate. All that he was doing was more for the show of it. And again, I'm not judging, I'm just relaying what happened in the Bible, the stories of the Bible. But the fact is, those stories are there to guide us. Are we the widow or are we the rich young ruler? And it is for us to make a decision as to which path we want to pursue.
Are we the widow or the rich young ruler? When we come
Yes,
back,
sir.
we'll answer much more of these questions and more. And Elise, do you want to add something to the conversation there?
Well, I want to just say a special good morning to Lady Marie up in Edmonton, who
Marie.
just gave us a time check, 5:39 a.m., minus 28 degrees Celsius,
Was that the time check as well?
minus 80 degrees Fahrenheit
Time
here
check.
in Edmonton.
Interesting.
Looking to build your dream home or renovate your space? M&M Construction is the perfect place. We bring your vision to life with precision and quality craftsmanship. From design to construction, we guide you every step, ensuring seamless coordination and superior results. Our professional roof inspection and maintenance services will ensure that your roof is sturdy this hurricane season. So, if you are ready to start your construction journey, call us today at 345-927-7509. Build with confidence. Build with M&M Construction. 345-927-7509.
Welcome back to the breakfast hour. Hope that your palate has been wet and that you are enjoying the sumptuous presentation that we have provided for you. With me this morning is the illustrious Lady Elise and the magnificent Mikey G and Lady Elise. We are taking you through this morning and we're having discussions. We started the discussion around, what is success, what is self-actualization. And so we want to pivot a little bit and look at what's happening in our world today. So welcome back. And again, let's make sure that you find something that you can put on your plate. It's buffet style on the breakfast hour.
All right. Yes, so, as you rightfully put it, Lady CoraleeKaren, buffet style for those who are getting their service. You don't have to wait for someone to serve you the breakfast. You have to take from that lovely buffet what you want from it. You take the information that you choose. And of course, it is for everyone to decide what resonates with you. Each morning we do the program or do this show. We do it because we want to bring a message to someone. We reach someone that may cause a stir in their minds or in their hearts, that they might think about something. I don't mean it's somebody who is ungodly, somebody who never meet Christ, somebody who never understand the word of God. It means it is someone who possibly would have been in the word of God but missed something so vital. Many persons find themselves in that situation, that you are avid ministers, preachers, but lack spiritual connection. And sometimes we do it because it's a job, or it makes the pay and the family go through life better, and myself. But did we figure it out that we were actually God's mouthpiece and only his servant and not anything else? And this is where I go. What's happening in our world today, Lady CoraleeKaren?
Interesting. We could maybe look at what is being celebrated today, and what popped out, Mikey G, Lady Elise, is National Clean Out Your Computer Day. And National Clean Out Your Computer Day speaks to geeks and lay people unite. It's National Clean Out Your Computer Day. This February 10, give your most used devices some TLC. This holiday falls on the second Monday in February, the perfect time to get some real organizing done if you've already given up on your New Year's resolution. Plus, don't forget about cleaning the outside of your device. It says that a group of moms actually came up with this screen cleaner free of harmful chemicals as a result.
Wow.
That's an interesting one.
Mm. You know,
Uh, yeah,
when I think about computers, you didn't talk about the viruses of it that's on the computers yet. And every time we think about these things, we think about people cleaning up something that is dirty, that never get contaminated. Yeah, but then you have virus and something that where the virus came from. How did a virus get into my computer? And if it was a virus, where did it originate from? Where?
but you see, computers are, again, I am not savvy, but what you find is that there are persons out there whose main job is to cause havoc. So just like how there is a thought that this virus is bad, there are people who have ill intent, and so they want to spy on you. They want to see what's going on, and for them, because again it says geeks, right? There are persons whose aim is to defy the status quo, um, and so the viruses may be intentional as well, and cleaning up your computer may be an opportunity for you to find things that could expose you. We're encouraged to have, uh, is it guards they call it, or protection for your
I
device, so
mean
that
malware protection,
correct.
the yeah.
So cleaning it up may also be a means of making sure that you're adequately protected, and maybe making sure that you have enough space, for example. So getting rid of those things that are no longer relevant or no longer of interest to you at this moment in time, depending on how long you have it for.
When you said it a while ago, I was thinking about COVID.
What specifically piqued your interest
All right,
regarding?
you know what? If I start on that COVID journey,
All right, let's not.
I didn't think about it.
Oh,
Think about all the viruses that you possibly can have. It's flu season, and every variation
and the
of different types
feeling
of flu.
too.
You start to wonder about these things. Here's a computer that is brand new, and somebody would be malicious to put something on there so they can sell the actual protection for it. That's what I'm thinking about. Malicious enough to do that.
Absolutely. Yes, it's marketing. It's marketing, demand and supply. The
Should you
economy of
arrest?
it.
Should you arrest all the persons who sell these things because they possibly are the one responsible for it?
You have to have proof. Oh my God. You can't just assume that because they're presenting a solution that they're
No. I'm just, I'm just being this a little bit, I'm just attach that to the whole thing. Look at the thing. Is it those who are providing the cure, providing the also providing the disease, are providing the things that are hurting you the most? The ones who are providing the cure. You wonder about these things, I'm not saying it is in every situation. I'm not saying it is in all form, but I am, in my mind, my curious mind can see how it is possible that we are having so many types of diseases without somebody actually purposefully. In fact, there is the labs that are set up for just studying diseases and how to weaponize them and all these things. And you're telling me that after studying all these things, we have done nothing in that direction? I remember the Vietnamese War. And the Vietnamese War, that was, I understand, they gave the young ladies, the Vietnamese girls, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody hear this information and I'm wrong, fact check me and say, Mikey G, that was incorrect. But they gave them a disease, I think it was syphilis, I think it was, something to that effect. And when the soldiers were, and this is war, and they're finding time, they have to get some recreational time in war, right? And so they would, the Vietnamese women go out to the men and they would infect them, inoculate them with this virus, and the men would stay in the jungle and they would die literally. That was one of the things that the Vietnamese used to conquer the war, win the war back then. I mean, this is just information that came to my desk, and I saw it. So, if I'm wrong, please somebody just say, Mikey G, that's not true. Please.
Well, checking it could very well require somebody who was physically there to be able to discredit it. But I mean, propaganda is propaganda. My thought, Mikey G, when you said that, is that if they went there for war, how is it that they're distracted? And so
that's a different conversation altogether, Lady CoraleeKaren. That's another conversation. That is a conversation that can go on till time immemorial. That conversation is a very big
because guess what? But it's a part of the war. All you have to do is like the Trojan horse. You have to know how to infiltrate the enemy. And so what you then do is change your weapon of choice. So instead of using one thing, instead of maybe hand-to-hand combat, or maybe, getting them on the battleground, all they did was to create a Trojan horse and infiltrated them and destroy them from within.
Have you ever heard a story about Simeon the prophet, who was walking from a very long distance, coming from one of those? Is it Simeon? I think Simeon. And he was coming from a long journey. Have you ever heard a story about that?
Go ahead, let me hear it.
So he was coming on a long journey from one of those things. He's a prophet of God, and he's coming back.
I want to know where to find that story so I can follow along in my Bible.
Anyways, this is what happened. I'm not going to lay it out. I wanted to go to it. Well, please, somebody, one of our avid listeners, please post it and tell us where the story is found, please. But anyways, here's the story. I'm just telling a story. I'm not reading the Bible now, so please don't quote me on the Bible text and verse, right? But then I'm telling the story. And so if you remember the story about the lady who was a prostitute, who went and actually had relations with the prophet, and the prophet said to her, he was on a journey and he had relations with the prophet, and as the custom was, he would have to give her a sheep for her services, or some animal, something to pay for what she would but he said, he never had a sheep because he was coming from a long journey, so he couldn't give her a sheep. And so he gave her his staff and say, go up to my house, and anybody you see, tell them to pay you. Just give them the staff. They know it's me. Just pay you for your services. I don't know if you remember that one. Do you remember that one?
I'm not sure if it's Simeon, but I'm sure the scholars will share.
I'm gonna see if it was Simeon. I don't remember, but I am trying to remember the name. I'm still mixing it up a little bit with the name, but I'll confirm that later on. But then this is the story.
Yes.
And when you listen to the story, this is what it was recorded. And there's much. You have to just read the thing. But the story was, the young lady the young lady in question was a daughter-in-law of this prophet, and his son married her, died, and she wanted to have relation with the prophet. She wanted him to be the husband or something of her, and he was refusing, and so she dressed herself up as a prostitute and disguised herself and did all our stuff with him. And when he came back and realized that the staff was presented to him by her, it was a different story that time,
So, well, when I googled it, it says it's Tamar and Judah.
Judah. There it is. It was Judah, the prophet.
So she played the part of a prostitute and struck a bargain with Judah for a goat, secured by his staff. So you referenced the story, Mikey G, after I spoke about the infiltration of the soldiers. Connect the dots for me.
I do that's connected for that is simple.
Yes,
It tells you that where it comes to men and women, there's a natural connection there.
That's what you. That's what.
If you want, all right. For every strong man, it's kryptonite. It's kryptonite. Every Superman you see, it's kryptonite. Is a woman. I mean, I'm speaking of men who actually see women as women. All right, please don't mix us up now. We don't want to mix up here. We're actually going to be. We are looking at the biblical principle of how these things work, and our attraction is for the female. That's it. I'm not looking at it any other way. And so the kryptonite for a man, and a man is a man because he loves woman. That's the only description for a man. And a woman is a woman because she loves man and is male. That's the only description. So we're not going to go into all the rest of the thing. And she's actually our sex says that she's female, and the man's sex say that he's a male, right? That's what we're going to leave it there, right? But when you look at it,
can I ask a question?
Sure.
Does that mean that every woman that presents herself to the man is at his behest, or he has to engage with her?
No, I mean, that's not the conversation we're having, actually. The conversation we're having is that, in fact, if you notice that not every woman can affect the man the same way. Do you realize this to be true?
Agreed, but then your blanket statement sort of took my mind that, boy, a man is going to be beguiled by a woman. Any woman can present herself.
That's what I wanted to clarify. That's not the statement.
Yes, please clarify.
The statement is not any woman. You know, it's not any woman. It means that there always is a specific person who can affect you, and that's where the kryptonite is. You find that one woman that does it. In fact, women are the same thing. There's a man that can affect you. It's not every man that can come and present themselves and you'll accept them. There's one man who can, and you will. And so this is the same principle. It don't move one way or the next without the same principle applied. Right?
So my question then,
yes.
Going back to Vietnamese War, how is it that they were so successful in that ruse?
Okay, well, the success of that is why prostitution is such a profitable business. And if we want to get into that aspect of it, then we'd have to have another program for that.
I'm learning. There's this concept that, well, not even a concept, it's a book. Women are from Mars. Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. So for me, every time I have a conversation, I want to get insights as to how men think, and so these conversations certainly are for my edification, for information for me, because I can tell you I still can't figure you all out.
Yes, hear the question. Yes, hear this piece. Hear this one. Here is Eve coming to Adam with the fruit, right?
Yes.
Let's switch the role. Adam come to you with the fruit after God said, "Do not eat it." What was your
Michael,
response?
I'm going to be suspicious of you flipping the script, right?
No, I'm just asking. No, I'm suspicious. That's what I said. What would be your response, the woman's response? Adam coming with the fruit, eat this because I find it to be good for you.
And the story ends right there, right?
I think the story will end right there. Adam sinned, that's it. Because the effect of it is this. Men are simply just... The concept of love is not a simple thing as people take it. And we're not talking about the love, we're talking about computers and geeks. But you just switched into here a while ago. Somehow it just went here. But the concept of love is a deeper meaning than what we can even imagine, right? And this love can be so beguiling sometimes. Or can be so beguiled by the love that you receive. So when Eve was turned into the serpent's go-to girl, and actually enemy of God at that time, and the enemy of Adam at that time, Adam didn't see it. He couldn't recognize that. All he saw was his wife. He didn't see the enemy of the devil coming, enemy of God and the serpent, right-hand man or woman in this sense, coming towards him. His love for her overshadowed everything. So you that word love, that men have. Because women didn't come with the word love, Women come with the word submit. That's it. And that's how love is understood. Submission. So all the women who are not submitting, they're not loving the man. And that's a fact. You don't have to worry about it. You know that the woman don't love you right away. Because she can't submit to you. And so the word love for the man is a deeper meaning. It's selfless. And it can just take him down a path that make him mindless completely. So I know this to be something true. And it's a dangerous precedent. Yeah.
Do you know that it's way past the news time?
Just
did you know that we were waiting for you to say something?
One little point, Elise. One little point. Because that, for me, is a very almost damning statement for Mikey G, because you mentioned the word love, and then my thought was, okay, well, if God is a source of love, where did Adam get it mixed up? Because shouldn't love, the source of love, be his focus?
Well, that's the point I'm telling you.
Question. And so the second question to me is, if it is that he didn't see it, well, maybe the first leads into the second, because then if he has a love for God, then his
look at God's
eyesight.
We are talking about God's love right now. We are studying the God's love story.
It is, had he been clothed in the armor of God, then he would not have been deceived. So the eyesight.
But he was not deceived.
His eyes.
He was not deceived. He was not deceived. Adam was not deceived. The Bible didn't say that. It said the Bible says that the woman was deceived. Adam wasn't.
Well, that is even worse, Mikey.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. The fact is this.
Tell me that he couldn't discern.
No, he did. He did discern. That's the point.
No.
Oh my word.
Mikey G. So what you're saying is that he had the mental capacity to see the wrong.
Yes.
And he did to commit it.
So that's what I'm trying to tell you. This is where I'm going to go for you.
No, but that's even worse than the woman who was deceived, because what we're saying
we're not speaking who is worse.
So my thought would be, if she was not in her right mind, she was.
Hold on. She was not in her right mind. That's it. And I'm happy you said that. I'm happy you said that.
So I think we should leave it right there. So
I think you want to leave it right there. But let me say this. Let me say this to you. For what you just said a while ago, it's very interesting. For her not to be in her right mind, because immediately as she went into taking that thing, her mind went. That was something else. Adam. However, sorry.
Yeah, but you're saying that Adam was in his right mind.
Yes.
And too. So I would say to you that the sympathy would be for Eve, because she wasn't thinking straight. He, on the other hand, had the fortitude and the presence of mind to know exactly what he was doing and did it.
But that's the point. I was talking about love. I just told you what love is. Love
but
is.
But it can't love, because God is the source of love, and if it is that he wasn't loving God, then clearly it wasn't love that he had.
Well, look at
it could have been infatuation and obsession.
I would beg to differ, because
one of our viewers just said that choice kills love.
Choice kills love. Well, here's where this goes.
No.
Let me say something.
Now is being accused, and the lesson this week says free will requires a defense. So I will, dear listener, thank you very much for the contribution, but I humbly object to that line of reasoning, because choice is one of the most beautiful things and distinguishes us from robots. It is what allows us intelligent choice.
You see how important it is to be a person who submits and listens to your husband. It's so important it is. Roland, I'm just saying it now. It's so important it is. Because when you went and submit to the next person and bring the crazy thing come.
And then, of course, the listener, the viewer,
I mean,
goes on to say Lucifer was created in love and failed in the heavenly courts.
Yeah, but here's the thing you must understand. When we're talking about this love, you must see this love in a full sense. Adam displayed that thing so well that it is self-sacrificing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't just self-sacrifice himself. He sacrificed all of us along with himself, right? And that's the reality. But in his act of love, this is what happened. He was not stupid. He was not an idiot. It's the same principle. I'm saying it now. It's the same principle when a woman says, "Me have him wrap around my little finger." He's a fool to her love. Hold on, Lady CoraleeKaren. Let me just finish now. He's a fool. He's a fool to your love. And because you know him fool to how you just treat him, you trick him and you make him feel stupid.
No, that's not what I want out of a relationship. I don't want anybody that I can wrap around my
No,
finger.
but that's the point. That's the Adam's love that you're seeing. The Adam love is the one who is not with any deceit, any form of disrespect or any of that. Is the one that will love you unconditionally in spite of your disrespectfulness.
No,
hold on. In spite of the disrespectfulness that you might present, he still loves you. To the point where you can always come back to your friends and say, "Boy, me have him round my little finger." You can't have a man around your little finger and say him love you unconditionally.
No,
That's a reality. And so you're saying then that you don't want men who loves you. You want men who are not loving to you, is unkind to you, and don't want to love you unconditionally, and they're going to love you with conditions and present those conditions, and you will adhere to that man, you will respect that man, apart from the man who actually loves you the most. That's what is sounding here.
It's like you're saying that love is blind. I cannot. What? Maybe that's why
I did not say it was blind. I did not say it was blind. He fully well see the danger that is happening to you. So he will. You're in danger. You're in danger, and somebody have you hostage, and he's coming to get you because his life don't matter as long as he comes to rescue you. That's not blind. That's seeing everything. Because the pain that you are in, he don't want you to have that.
I'm
he wants
so
to
sorry, Michael.
He wants to rescue.
In my being is objecting to your description, your definition of love. That's not love. That is obsession.
What about Jesus? What about Jesus coming to die on a cross, being beaten by people, plucked and stabbed and all these things? Is that love?
Jesus planned it. It says from the beginning of, he knew that redemption was required, and so he.
I know, but is that love? Is that love? That self-sacrifice where he died?
Absolutely. But guess what?
Adam did the same thing. Adam did the same thing for Eve. Adam did the same thing for Eve. The only problem is brought us.
His action, and I'm not describing it as love, his action not only killed her, he killed him, and he killed the whole generation.
But I'm saying in the act of love for Adam, for that woman that God gave him, as much as he loved her.
My last statement.
That's what it was.
There was a reason why God encountered Adam before Eve came in. It says that he realized that he needed a mate. But it didn't stop the fact that he had an encounter with God before. So the source of love held him, Mikey G. And so he experienced true, pure love.
Right. So you're saying that.
And I'm saying to you, Michael, my last thought is that is love. Love is self-sacrificing, but love is not foolish. It is not stupid. And if what I hear as a definition for me, I'm sorry, I'm going to be very candid and straightforward.
Just go ahead, shoot it.
I am absolutely rejecting it, and I'm saying that what you have is a man who not only sacrificed himself, but he sacrificed an entire earth that we're now having to grapple with, being born in sin, right? And so we know our innate desire is to follow after this blinded pursuit. And I'm so no. I am that sort of a love is hopeless to me. I prefer. I am going to take a very strong position. My take is that I do not want anything that looks like that, because I'm going to be scared that you're going to.
Here's the question I'd
love
ask
your
you.
wife as the church loves, and so your love must be depicting the love of God.
Here's the question I'd ask you. Here's the question I'd ask you. Here is what Adam did. He listened to his wife.
Scary.
He accepted what she brought to him. He allowed her to lead him. Are you saying then that the men today must never allow women to lead them in any form or shape, considering that Adam was such an idiot, hold on, to allow her to lead him into destruction? Are you saying then this corrupt, hold on, and this was a perfect woman, hold on. This was a perfect woman who God made for Adam, and she would have deceived him, or not deceived him, but brought sin into his life. You are saying that the imperfect woman now should lead men now, considering that option?
My response to you, Mikey G, is this: men should be led by God. It doesn't matter who or what sex is put in a position.
No, don't say that. No. You can't be led by God and then be led by somebody.
Putting words in my mouth.
I didn't put words in your mouth. You came up with that.
You have to allow me to answer your question.
Go ahead.
And I have to answer your question based on my thought process, and not that it conforms to what you think is right. No, if that's what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm rejecting that.
Then how can you reject? How can you reject it then and then call Adam an idiot and call him fool? You see, you have to see it. You have to see it now. Right. So when it comes back,
I'll ask me a question and then determine how I am going to answer it.
No, I'm not determining that. So go ahead and answer quickly. And then do it. And you're going to cut it. At this juncture, I think it is fair for us to agree to disagree. All right, go ahead. Let's agree and disagree at the same time.
With you. I am not agreeing with you. If it is the man loves God, and maybe that's the problem that we are having.
All right, yes.
The man not loving God.
Man not loving God.
And results, they have prescribed and described love based on their own perception. That love that is going to cause them to defy God is, not love. That act that is going to cause them to defy their first love is not love. It's something totally different. And so if it is that your charge, your instruction is to love the woman as Christ loved the church, your first requirement is to love God. And so every act, everything.
So you're then saying that man is head of woman. That's what you're saying.
I'm sorry, what is it that you didn't hear? I was unclear on?
I'm saying, so you're saying that the man is head of woman. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely.
And she has no responsibility of leading him, but he's supposed to lead her.
But then again, it's the definition of it. If it is that the woman has been called by God, Ellen White, for example, is called to direct the church because God is leading her. Are you saying that because she's woman that she should not?
Your answer. There's never a statement that says that you didn't have a valuable contribution in direction or telling or saying or information or telling or being a part of or even in leadership. I'm never saying that. I'm saying what that looks like always must see. I'm saying, is it that now when you see, because of the conversation we're having, that Adam was so stupid that he allowed Eve to lead him in a direction? Are you saying that men now are stupid, that women are leading them in a direction?
I'm saying to you, Mikey, that the woman has nothing to do with your relationship with God.
No, it's not the relationship with God that leads in the direction. No, it was the relationship. It was the relationship between both persons that led down the road. God didn't have anything to do with that at that point. It was the both of them talking, and then God come and ask another question.
Dear Mikey G, I am going to say it again. If I'm going to be wrong because I disagree with you, then
you can't be wrong. You cannot be. There is never a wrong place. We're having a conversation. It's a robust one, healthy and good.
I'm saying to you, and I'll repeat it. The two are distinct.
Yes.
If the man has a relationship with God, it does not matter the mouthpiece. Remember that God said that he can use the rocks and the mountain.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you.
And he uses every single person, regardless of your sex. Right?
Yes.
And so my response to you is, if it is that God appoints a woman in a position that is leadership, the man needs to not be distracted by the fact that his woman.
So you're saying that the man must submit. So you're saying that the man must submit to. Hold on. You're saying that the man must submit. Hold on. You're saying that the man must now submit and she must love him.
No, I am saying.
No, you're switching roles. You're switching roles.
You're not listening to me.
Yeah, but I'm saying no. I'm just adding to you. So the man must now submit to her while she love him.
I'm sorry. I think I have. Can I tell you one of the things that I'm known for is the chatting? I have a lot of words.
No, but I'm saying, I'm just asking. So the man must submit. No, so I'm saying, so the man now.
Come submit, Mikey G. Use your words.
No, but I'm using them. So the man now must submit. No, so the man must now submit to the woman's authority. Hold on. So the man now must now submit to the woman's authority because she is placed as the priest of the house, the priest of the family. So now she is the priest, right? And that's God's leadership.
The man needs to submit to God. The man needs to love God. And whatever God...
Well, here's a rule for you. Here's a rule for you. And this is what the principle of the Bible says. That God is head of Christ. Christ is head of man. Man is head of his household and his wife. That's what it is. And every time you see it, that anytime the woman becomes the head of the man, then we are going into transgenderism and all of that. So we are having a problem. So we're not saying that the women must not have roles and you must not lead. There's no such thing. Women have been instrumental in look at Esther. Esther was a queen. And we can't ever say these things. It's ridiculous. But where the priestly roles are expressed, men are the one expressly supposed to be.
And again, my submission to you is that we're talking about two different things. The head of the household.
It is. Yeah. He cannot be the head of the house and not in leadership.
It has nothing to do with leadership. So if
it has to do with leadership.
I am disagreeing with you because the woman in her right is a leader. But it doesn't mean that she's a priest of the house. It doesn't mean that she's the one who dictates what happens or leads. Because God, the man is going to be having his individual. You notice how Jesus operated when he was on earth. Yes, there were times when he needed to be with his disciples. But in order for him to lead the disciple and by extension the people, he had to have his own communion with God. And so if Jesus is our example, men, if Jesus is your example, then you need to take time out to have that personal devotion with God. So that when you
when your woman not listening to
your family.
So when you as a woman don't listen to the man, how does that work?
I think we're talking about two different things.
No, it's not two different things. Because the thing is...
it doesn't matter. The man doesn't... He can be the priest of the house.
No, he is. No, not can be. Not can be. The word is not can be. He is the priest. Because there's no can be the woman being the priest at no time. When you see that anywhere, that's something else. That's not scriptural. That's not biblical. That's nothing. I'm saying to you, when you see this, it's a dangerous place to see yourself. When the man the word can be is not that. Once he is involved in his family, he is the head of his house immediately. It's not something that is given to him by any arbitrary person taking a vote. It is mandated by God himself. It is as spiritual and as natural as it was.
Mikey G, that the man needs to hold true to his assignment. He wasn't assigned a position by a man or a woman.
But here you have a rebellious woman. You have a rebellious woman named Eve. What do you do with that? What do you do with a rebellious woman named Eve? What do you do with that? She's always siding on the part of the devil. She coming to overrun him territory, now take over leadership, and now she now needs to lead him. Oh, you think that is working? That's Eve and the devil working together.
My suggestion to you, Mikey G, is that the man failed, and I'm going to be very brutal.
All right, go ahead. The man failed, so the woman must lead him.
Failed in his responsibility to God.
And so the woman must lead him now because he's failed.
No, I am not saying that, because the ideal still holds. And so every time the man fails in his responsibility to God, then he opens himself. It's not about Eve. It has nothing to do with
So the woman
Eve.
becomes his retribution. That's what you're saying?
It's a relationship between.
So the woman
Adam.
becomes the man's retribution when he fails with God?
No. We're living in a sinful world.
Right.
And I'm saying to you, if I may, I'm going to finish the statement. Every time Adam loses his sight from his source of love, that's when he starts to fail. Peter walking
So
on
every
the
time so you're saying, listen what you're saying. When the man loses sight of his connection with God, the woman will lead him every single time. So whenever time you see women leading the men,
that's not what I'm saying.
Hold on. So whenever time you see the women leading the men have lost sight, and the women have to lead them.
That's not what I'm saying. I am saying that every time the man fails, and I'm saying it's two separate conversations.
It is the same one. It's the same one.
Fails, he has lost his connection with God. It doesn't matter what happens afterwards, whether it is a woman who's going to lead or he's going to be demoted. It does not matter.
Well,
once the man fails in his connection with God, then there are going to be repercussions.
Well, and there it is, and you are right.
That he longer has a leadership position.
And you are right. You're perfectly right, CoraleeKaren. I'm never going to say you're wrong. Here was Deborah, the judge of Israel, who because of Israel's chaos was happening, the men didn't step up. The men were so distracted by everything else, and they were not proper men. And a woman had to lead them. And that proves that God says that when chaos occurs, women will lead you. When chaos occurring, women will lead you. And you're not wrong about what you're saying. So whenever you see women leading the men, chaos is occurring. And that's what I know from biblical studies. And you're right. I'm going to agree with you 100%.
And Mikey G, I think that on that very positive note, I will conclude my discourse.
Lady CoraleeKaren, we have agreed on everything.
We have come to a point of agreement, and thank you.
We have agreed on all of the topics. Everything we have agreed.
For taking me out of the cringe.
Yeah, but it is important that we see these things. We are not saying that women mustn't lead, But we are saying when you see women leading the men in the spiritual and all that, you know that there's chaos going on. We know. It's not God's order. It's out of order. It's out of sync. It's chaos. Everything is out of everything going south, So we know these things, right? The Bible tells you. And so godly women, where are godly women? Godly women stands as Eve was created for Adam, not Adam for Eve.
And I will say to Adam that God created him for his service,
leadership,
for his love, and so his first and primary goal is to love the source of love. On that note, it's time for us to conclude the breakfast hour. As we started, it is a magnificent Monday, and I hope that our viewers had been treated with dishes that their palate enjoyed.
Oh, man.
If it was a little bit, some of it may have had a little bit of bitterish reception.
Burn the belly a little bit, because you don't want to taste that too much.
But there would have been some sweetness in there. But all in all, I hope you take from it what our intention is for it to be wholesome, right? And so I hope that you would have taken sufficient so that it would have blessed you today. And that is our sole purpose. We're going to have differences of thought and opinion, but at the end of the day, we're hoping that it is grounded in love and love of God primarily. So again, thank you so very much for joining us on this magnificent Monday. And my encouragement to each and every one of us is to make it so. Make the Monday so magnificent that when the challenges come, when the the difficult times come, that you're buoyed by the fact that it is just for a moment, it's just for a time, and that our loving God is still present, is still able to take you through those challenging times. Have a magnificent Monday, viewers and friends.
All right, so we want to say to you, Lady CoraleeKaren, thank you so much for that this morning's exercise, I would say. And I think it's time for news. We just do it like this morning, news time.
Absolutely.
By ultrasound for all your ultrasound needs right here in the Grand Cayman Islands this morning.
When you need ultrasound that's safe and effective, you must visit Asai Ultrasound Imaging. They're conveniently located at number 4 Chestnut Center, Smith Road, Georgetown, Cayman Islands. With experienced technologists with over 20 years experience, their friendly staff will make you comfortable while you get your procedure done. Asai Ultrasound Imaging is open Mondays to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. Call Asai Ultrasound Imaging 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426. That's 345-949-2454 or 345-938-3426.
Good morning. It is Monday, February 10th, and these are the news headlines on Flashpoint Radio. I'm CoraleeKaren. Cayman gets all clear following tsunami threat. The Cayman Islands government has issued the all clear following a tsunami threat that arose after a magnitude 7.6 earthquake struck 126 miles southwest of Grand Cayman on Saturday evening. While no major damage has been reported, officials urge residents to remain vigilant for potential aftershocks in the coming days. Hazard Management Cayman Islands Director Danny Coleman emphasized the importance of staying informed through official channels. Cayman law to clamp down on sexual harassment passes. In a landmark move, the Cayman Islands Parliament has passed the Anti-Sexual Harassment Bill with overwhelming support. The legislation introduced fines for offenders and requires all employers to establish policies to combat workplace harassment. The law, initially proposed in 2005, defines sexual harassment and sets up a specialist tribunal to handle cases. Court quashes permission for road through Blue Iguana territory. The Grand Court has overturned planning permission for a private road cutting through the Blue Iguana habitat in Grand Cayman. The ruling deemed the Central Planning Authority's decision unlawful as the development impacted a protected species critical habitat without proper referral to the National Conservation Council. Conservation Council Chairman Stuart Mallow lauded the verdict, highlighting the need for regulatory oversight in governmental matters. Sea swells prevent a rare cruise visit to Cayman Brac. The MSC Explorer 2, a cruise ship scheduled to dock at Cayman Brac on Friday, rerouted to Grand Cayman due to high sea swells. While cruise visits to the Brac are rare, vendors and tour operators have prepared for the passengers' arrival. Despite the disappointment, local officials emphasized that safety remains the top priority. The ship arrived in Grand Cayman at 2 p.m. and another vessel, Explorer 1, is expected to visit Cayman Brac on March 12. New National Museum Director outlines vision for cultural institution. Dr. Verley Popeye has assumed the role of Director of the Cayman Islands National Museum with ambitious plans for the institution. Facing staffing shortage and budget constraints, she aims to increase local engagement by extending museum hours and offering free admission on Saturdays. Dr. Popeye is determined to make museum visits a routine part of Caymanian life and enhance its cultural significance. In Caribbean news, IMF projects steady 2.4% growth for the Caribbean in 2025. The International Monetary Fund has projected a stable 2.4% economic growth rate for the Caribbean in 2025. The region experienced a rapid recovery post-pandemic, with tourism-dependent economies stabilizing and commodity exporting countries benefiting from strong non-energy sector performance. The IMF also noted that inflation has remained moderate thanks to low global commodity prices and improved supply chain conditions. In Jamaica, brutal murder of 14-year-old sparks national outrage. Jamaica is in mourning following the brutal murder of 14-year-old Price Johnson, a student of Haile Selassie High School in St. Andrew. Authorities have identified the suspect as Imani Lignot and are seeking public assistance in locating him. The incident, which involved a violent attack in her home, has left the community in shock and has reignited discussions on safety and mental health concerns in the country. In St. Martin, 2 young boys severely attacked by dogs. 2 minors suffered severe injuries after being attacked by dogs in a residence in St. Peter's Road, St. Martin. Police responded to multiple emergency calls and had to cut down the dogs to rescue the trapped 11-year-old boy. Both victims were taken to the St. Martin Medical Center for urgent medical treatment. Over in Bahamas, shark attack leaves 2 American tourists injured. 2 American female tourists were injured in a shark attack while swimming near Bimini Bay on Friday evening. The victims were promptly transported to a local medical clinic for immediate care. Authorities are investigating the incident as officials remind visitors to exercise caution while engaging in water activities in the area. Scattered showers are expected across the Cayman Islands and the Northern Caribbean today, temperatures ranging between 75 degrees Fahrenheit and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Moderate winds may bring choppy seas, so boaters are advised to exercise caution. Meanwhile, a cold front moving across the Atlantic may bring cooler temperatures to parts of the Eastern Caribbean later this week. Those were your news roundup on Flashpoint Radio. Please continue to stay tuned for more updates.
Welcome back. I know there are many things that the news highlighted, and it was a good reprieve for us to pause a moment to hear what's happening in the world. Mikey G, is there anything that stood out for you that you would want us? We do not have much time, certainly, but is there one item of news that you wanted to highlight? And
there are many things that are happening in the news this morning, and I don't think we have the time to do it too much with it. But I would say that we have looked at the endangered species. There's two laws, the laws that have been passed for the sexual harassment in the Cayman Islands. One, and then there's the iguana, where they are the blue iguana that they're cutting a road through some some land, and we are having that conversation. I know that the road is going to be cut soon enough, but I guess until it's not profitable or it's more profitable, then it will happen.
Well, I think too is the earthquake and the tsunami threat.
Right there it is.
Yeah, just to remind persons to be vigilant and most importantly, to look to the source of your information. There are a lot of things that will cause propaganda, but please make sure that you're getting information from the official sources. It is expected that there may be aftershocks as the days progress. So although it happened on Saturday evening, the expectation is that there will be aftershocks. So please remain vigilant. Please remain tuned into the official sources of information so that you will be guided accordingly. I think that's a wrap with regards to the news and the time that we do have, Mikey G. It was an amazing time. It's for us to, and it started the day, go out and make an impression on somebody. Be kind, most of all, to someone. However that looks, make sure you are within yourself satisfied that you're being kind to somebody else.
Like, share, and subscribe to Flashpoint. Of course, let us reach 10 million persons right across the globe every time we turn on these mics and we talk to persons. Of course, today is Magnificent Monday, as designated by CoraleeKaren this morning. I want to thank Lady Elise and CoraleeKaren for being a part of this morning's program. And of course, join us on our YouTube, our Facebook, and our Instagram page. Of course, don't forget www.flashpointmedia.ky, where our radio continues to play all day long. Catch you tomorrow morning, same time, same place, when we do it all over again for you. Have yourself a God bless day.
Scott, and you're listening to Flashpoint Radio. Rise and shine. Your morning boost of inspiration, news, and fun. With Mikey G, Lady Elise, and CoraleeKaren. The unmistakable combination, synergized to navigate.
It's like we're running in circles, going around every day, getting stuck in the hurdles of yesterday. Don't you wanna go further, away from the fray? Let's not get stuck in our worries, we'll make our way. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air, look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd. Just you and me together, we'll all sing better outside. Just us in the sky. I will go wherever I be. is this a fate? At least now I'm feeling better. I know I'm here to stay. Won't you come outside where the sunflowers bloom? Breathe in the air. Look up to the moon. I'll meet you outside, away from the crowd. Just you and me together, and we'll all sing better outside. Just us in the sky. I will go wherever, I'll be yours forever.
Second Corinthians 2:9 and 10.
No eye has seen, no ear has heard, no mind has conceived what God has prepared for those who love Him. But God has revealed it to us by His Spirit.
You're locked into the station that helps you tap into those incredible things that God is preparing